Hello, it's Idris Kanover here again. I'd like to thank you for taking out time to follow the Idris Kanover Mind Management series. Recently, we started shooting a video to follow up the thought questions that I asked, but somewhere along the line we encountered some production challenges, and so today I'm doing a freestyle because the video has to be released, and the message is the message at the end of the day. So doesn't matter whether I'm out in the lake somewhere shooting, which actually was where I shot the video, but hey, unfortunately we can't put it out today. So we're doing this as a freestyle, and it's a follow-up on the thought-provoking questions. Question number 1 was, who are you? And question number 2 was, what version of yourself are you? And so the question, who are you, is a very important one, very, very important. And that question also, the explanation to that question will be a follow-up also to the first topic of the year, which was goals. And so I want to start by saying that in achieving your goals in life, it's very important that you understand who you are, because you do not seem to set goals for no reason. You do not seem to maybe want to move out of the suburbs into the city, or maybe get a new job that pays higher than the one you currently have, or maybe study for a new degree, start up a program or something. You do not intend to do that for nothing's sake. You're trying to do that because you're trying to act out a nature that is within you. Some of us cannot boast of a complete sleep at night. Some of us cannot boast of maybe an 8-hour sleep. Some people are woken up at night by their dreams, by their aspirations, by the burning desire within them to become more, to do more. And all of this is because you're trying to act out your nature. And that nature comes from where you are created. Human beings, we are made like our Creator. Our Creator is the Almighty God. And our Almighty God has some very wonderful attributes to Himself. And 3 of them I like to mention are His omnipotent abilities, His omniscient abilities, and His omnipresent abilities. This explains why a lot of us, in growing, we are really trying to be a certain type of way. For instance, some of us may not know that the reason why we seek for a higher paycheck, the reason why we seek to do most of the things we want to do for an attainment of a certain level, is because we are trying to act out a nature that is just same as God's. That is the omnipotent nature. God is omnipotent. It means that He is very powerful. When we want to get a higher paycheck, we seek to control our circumstances better than we're already doing. That is a quest to achieve more power than we already have. When we want to get a new job, when we want to attain a new position, it's because we seek the power that makes our situation better than what it currently is. And then some of us also, we want to study about so many things. Some people even want to do it all at the same time. Some people want to get a master's degree while they're currently studying for a professional course, and all of that. That is because we are yearning to be like our Creator in a certain way. We want to act out our Creator's omniscient nature. Some of us also want to take on new territories. We want to travel around the world. We want to see different countries. Some of us want to set up businesses, maybe franchise businesses. Some of us want the chain structure kind of businesses that are in chains. This is because we want to expand beyond our present reach. We want to be like our Creator. And so it's very important. Understand the reason why you want to do the things that you want to do. It is like growing up and looking at your parents sometimes. You maybe watch your dad, the way he eats, or the way he sits, or some gestures he makes when he's trying to talk to people. And you look at him, and then you see a bit of yourself in him. You know, you can, it's like a reflection of yourself that you see in him. You can pick out certain things that are in your nature as well. You know, this is the way we are with God. You know, we need to understand where certain attributes that we have as people, where they come from, you know, and why we want to be a certain way. You know, so we human beings were made like God. And so in the pursuit of your dreams, in the pursuit of your goals, understand who you are made like. And I would also like to go further and say that for any man to really attain the highest level of potential, he must have a relationship with his creator. This is basic, you know, and how you attain that relationship and going further on why you need to have that relationship is a topic for another day. And we will talk about that because it's important, you know, but that's a topic for another day. But it's important that you know that you must have a relationship with your creator. And so I'll move further, and then I will say this, or I will ask this: what version of yourself are you? We need to know that in going through life's race and in the pursuit of our goals, search for opportunities and all of that, it is important that we as people, we are constantly updated. You know, we live in an era where there's a high need for software applications, for technological gadgets to be updated, you know, to suit the current demands that are placed on them by us people and the environment, etc. But it's unfortunate to know that in this same time there are very outdated people. A lot of people are stuck in their old ways. They are the old version of themselves. They continue to remain that way, and this doesn't help in the attainment of your goals or in the attainment of your purpose. You need to be able to understand as a human being that you must be updated, and ask yourself that question: what version of myself am I? I'd like you to ask yourself that question right now, even as you listen. What version of myself am I? When was the last time I sought to remedy the defects in me? When was the last time I sought to update myself to suit the current need for a high ideal of intelligence, a high ideal of consciousness? When was the last time I updated myself? This is a very important question. And in also bringing this up, I would like to go further and say that there are two major components in a human being that defines who you are. And when we talk about updating yourself, it's very important that you put these two components in perspective. These two components are your character as a person, and then your mental faculty. Your mental faculty involves your ability to learn and unlearn things. You know, how much learning and unlearning can you do as a person? This makes for your mental faculty. But what I really like to speak about today is your character. Your character as a person, or what some people like to call your persona, your personality. It's a very, very important aspect of yourself. You know, it's when I say that you have to update yourself, it is your character that I'm trying to bring into question. The character of a human being is the complete sum of everything that the human being embodies. You know, it's a complete sum. You know, and I'd like to break it down to also let you know that your character as a person is made up of certain entities. Certain entities such as your ideas, your thoughts, your imaginations, your feelings and emotions, your behavioral patterns, and also your actions that you undertake. You know, these are the entities or the attributes that make up your character. And so when you ask yourself, what version of myself am I, it's important that while you're trying to find that out, you also know that in updating yourself, these are the levels or the attributes in your character that need to be updated, you know. And you realize that I first mentioned ideas. Ideas they're on top of the food chain of all those entities. Ideas are at the top. The ideas of a person can make them and they can break them, you know. And so in in knowing how we need to update ourselves and in knowing how we need to become the best version of ourselves, we need to understand that firstly, our ideas as human beings are like the beginning of everything to happen in our character. Ideas are born into people in several ways, and I want to also use this medium to tell us how ideas come into our mind. Our ideas come into our minds from our five senses, or our sense organs rather, include our eyes, our ears, our nose, the tongue, and the skin. Basically our ability to smell, to taste, to hear, to feel, etc. So these are the means through which ideas come into your mind. And it's also important to know that the quality of ideas that you get are really, really based on the kind of environment that you find yourself. What I'm trying to say in effect is that the quality of ideas that you get as a person are very important in impacting how much you can really do and how much you can really achieve. I say this because for instance, a lot of people, have made a certain decision this year to improve upon their business. A lot of people want to improve on their choice of study or their study area, but they constantly listen to, they constantly watch, and they constantly feel or taste things that cannot actually help them to harmonize with that end they're trying to achieve. You have one idea to achieve a certain thing, but you are constantly being buffeted by other things that will not help you achieve or attain that original idea that you have. The environment that you find yourself in per time influences you through your sense organs, as I mentioned earlier. Your sense organs pick up things from your immediate environment. So while you're trying to toe a certain line, and then you are hearing things that do not harmonize with that end that you're trying to achieve, chances are you will be derailed from your goals. So the kind of environment that you find yourself in per time is very important in the attainment of your goals, and also in the generation of new ideas. It's important that a person is located at a place where they can pick up good stimuluses from their sense organs, that will enable them achieve great things. So I want to also go further to let us know that why ideas are very, very important, and why the source of your ideas are very, very important to you. It's also important that you know how your ideas can be changed. A lot of us already have old ideas. We cannot we cannot rule out the fact that you have been living for several years. You have picked up certain information from your immediate environment, heard a lot of things, seen a lot of things, tasted a lot of things, and all of that. But how can you change those things? How can you rearrange those things, or how can you use your mental faculty? As I earlier mentioned, that your mental faculty and your character, together makes are components that make you as a person. So it is through your mental faculty that you can actually apply a certain a kind of remedy and then change your character. Maybe beginning with your ideas, affect your ideas. So what is that thing that you can apply? I'd like to introduce that thing to us today, and that thing is your habits. Your habits as a person greatly impact the kind of ideas you can have. They are the means by which you can change your ideas. You can alter the kind of ideas that you have with your habits. Habits can be good or bad. Habits can make you, and they can also break you. But the kind of habits that we will be looking at are the kind of habits that are relevant to remedy the defects that we already have. The things that we have picked up from our environment that are not helping us to attain our goals. What kind of habits can we inculcate that will take these things away, that will make our ideas better? Those are the habits that we will be looking at. But before I reveal those habits to you, I also like to let you know that while you are attaining to becoming your best self, or while you struggle to make your life better, things do not just happen to you out of strictly out of your own struggle. Nature has a way it gratifies the efforts of every human being. When you are making an effort towards a certain area, towards achieving a certain objective, nature will be trying to gratify your efforts through something known as circumstances. Circumstances are the means by which every human being gets his own. I really love circumstances. I really love them. Why do I like circumstances so much? Is because careful observation, has led me to understand that, or to observe that circumstances can come in two ways. They can appear in two forms. They can come in the form of an opportunity, or in the form of a temporary defeat or a temporary failure, depending on how you see it as a human being. And most times circumstances come in the later way that I mentioned. They usually will sneak up on you. They come in disguise. They can be in a really disguiseful manner, and then you see them as failure, and then you give up on your ideas, you give up on your goals. This is not nice, because most of the time it's just temporary defeat or temporary failures. And there are objects that once you really understand what nature is trying to play, you can actually use them to your own benefit. So understand today that nature will be trying to gratify your efforts for everything that you're trying to achieve through circumstances. And these circumstances can be in the form of an opportunity, it can be in the form of a temporary defeat. It depends on how you see it as a person. I say this also because in the world where we have billions of people, when an idea sparks up in your mind, it is not possible that you're the only one who has thought about that idea. Yes, there are people who are, one out of the billions of people, might get a fantastic idea. Great, but most of the time when you're thinking about something, someone else in the world is already thinking about that thing. And there are chances that that person will outthink you, But what really sets the difference between a person who merely receives an idea and a person who goes further to achieve or see their ideas come to fruition, or see their ideas being actualized, is the kind of habits that they have. The man who has the good habits will always be able to turn ideas into finished products, but the man who has an excess of bad habits will never be able to achieve anything out of the ideas. He will keep wavering, and he will keep splitting hairs over non-essentials, and giving into new motives that present themselves. But the man who has the good habits will always be able to follow up on an idea and then see it come to fruition. So today I would really like us to take some important pieces out of this talk, and those are the parts where I spoke about our character, what our character is made of, which are our ideas, our thoughts, our imaginations, our feelings and emotions, our behavioral patterns, and also the kind of actions that we undertake. And also the part where I spoke about our nature, and that we are made like God, and that God is omnipotent, He's omniscient, and He's omnipresent, which explains why we want to do and achieve so many great things, and acquire all of the power and expand beyond our reach. And also important is the part where I spoke about nature, and how nature gratifies the effort of every human being, by presenting circumstances which can be in the form of opportunities or temporary failures. And also the part where I talked about habits, and that habits are the means by which we remedy the defects in our character. I will also be releasing subsequently a video on the right kind of habits that we can inculcate, to remedy the defects in our character. I will still be talking about the various other levels or the various other entities that make up our character and their relationship with the achievement of our goals. It's very important, that we follow up these conversations, and by the time we get the full message, we will understand how our character and our mental faculties play a great role in attaining or achieving our set goals. these observations and these careful study, has proven to work for a lot of people, including myself. I can gladly say in the past year that by applying these principles, I was able to hit several targets that I had in my life, to improve myself and to get the best out of my life. And they're still working to today, and I continue to employ them. So stick to the videos, watch them, follow the YouTube page, subscribe, watch all these videos, and drop your comments where you can. I would like to hear from you. Feedbacks, very, very important. And whatever questions that you present, I'll be glad to answer them. So let's stay tuned to our next video, where we'll be talking about our habits and the various other entities that make up the character. Thank you very much for watching.